The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the ECAT staff or board of directors.
Welcome to Easton 300, a monthly TV show that talks about the good things that are happening here in the town of Easton, Massachusetts. And yes, there is a special giant celebration taking place. It's called the Easton Tricentennial, and there's a whole variety of activities taking place. There's a committee that was appointed by the Easton Select Board back in late 2022. And since that, the committee has tripled in size. There's a lot of people involved. There's excitement in the air. And here we are in May of 2025. We've already had a bunch of events, and we got a lot more coming, folks, and we're going to review those dates as we go through the show. Thank you so much for joining us. My co-host, Brian Hoffman, could not be with us today. He's recuperating from sickness, but we hope that he'll get back on his feet. And he'll be back for our next show. As I say, we do this once a month. My special guests today, two familiar faces here in the town of Easton. They're both active with the Easton Lions Club, an organization that's very heavy into community service, and they reach out into global service as well. Their motto is "We Serve," and they're serving big time because they're going to be running an event in honor of the Easton 300th celebration. And that event, of course, is going to take place on May 17th, and it's called Easton Celebrates the History of our community here in Easton, Mass. Our guest, we are fortunate enough to have the president and of course Rob Goodrich. He's done double duty with the Lions Club. He's been president and the leader for 2 consecutive terms. And joining him is a very active member of the Lions Club. He's also the vice chair of the Tricentennial celebration. And he spends a lot of time doing lots of community stuff, and when he has some free time, he plays the role as an attorney.
Just a little bit here and there when I can.
But let me start with you, Rob. I know folks out there in the community know about Lions because you folks as prime workers out there in the community that donate your time and talent to serve the community. Tell us a little bit about Lions. You've been active for a while, and of course you've been their leader.
Yeah, so we have one of the biggest Lions clubs in the New England region. We have about a total of 160 members, which is quite remarkable for a town of this size. Our purposes are twofold. Number one, we do fundraising activities in which we generate revenue that we give to charities. They could be local charities and Lions-related causes, and also scholarships for Easton's school children. And then the other purpose is building community. So orchestrating, overseeing events which bring us together as a community. One notable example of that is the Holiday Festival, which is a 2+ day event that we have the first weekend of December every year. And we've held it for 39 consecutive years. Even during COVID, it was kind of a scaled down version of that. So the 40th annual Holiday Festival will be taking place this December. Another thing we've been doing is also the celebration of Easton. It's an event which we've had, I believe, 3 or 4 iterations of that. The first one was celebrating groups of nonprofits which help to make Easton a better place. And then the second iteration was, it was a thanks to the entities within the town which pushed us through COVID And then the third iteration was a thank you to Easton's veterans. And then this iteration, Dale and I came up with the ideas as we were at McGuire's having a couple of beers together.
Always helps.
And we said, well, what can we celebrate this year? And we're like, hey, it's the tricentennial, isn't it? And we're like, how about we celebrate Easton's history, you know? So we decided to go forth with that. Initially, when we advertised it, we were going to have it as a sit-down meal affair, which is consistent with how we've done other celebrations in the past. However, we decided to make a change last week. We opted to bore down solely on the speaking portion of the program, and I can talk about that a little later, but make it a free event, and that would make it much more consistent with the tricentennial events that we have in town. So we're hoping that we'll have a bigger showing at this event, given the fact that it's free, and it'll be open to anybody in the town. No pre-registration is required.
Now, Dale Kerester, I know that you're not only active in the Lions Club, but you seem to step up to the plate to do what you can with a lot of functions that go on in the town. But the tricentennial, I'm so happy to have you as the vice chair. And I know that there's a lot of events taking place. There's a lot of planning. It needs lots of volunteers. There's been fundraising. The list goes on, and it almost becomes a full-time job for both of us to be able to see this through. But there's excitement in the air to see some of the results. And I think of the first two events. The one that took place at Stonehill, that was our kickoff event. And we had 2,500 people that showed up. And you and I were in costume as the greeters. And that was truly amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. You know, when you think about it, we started the planning for the tricentennial events in January 2023. The committee members sat around a conference room table, and sort of akin to our high school days when you're asking, what do you want to do tonight? I don't know. What do you want to do tonight? And said, well, what do you want to do for the tricentennial? I don't know. What are other towns doing? And that's how we got started. And it's amazing to see the fruition of all of 2 years worth of planning, culminating in not only the signature events that we're having, but also the community partnership events, whereby we're partnering with a lot of the very same organizations that were the subject of the Lions' first celebration of Easton, which was a celebration of Easton's community service organization. So by way of example, with House of Possibilities and other organizations in town. And the first event, as you mentioned, 2,500 people at Stonehill. And for those out there, you may be seeing Mr. Clifton and myself show up again in our colonial gear, and that is a threat, by the way, right? And
I wear it quite often. As a matter of fact, I shouldn't say this to fans out there that I wear it to bed as well because I want to be ready to promote the celebration. But let's talk about the big event that the Lions Club agreed to provide, because this is a community rich in history. And on May 17th at the Oak Games Memorial Hall, the Lions Club have come together in force to celebrate the history of the town. What are the plans for that? I know it's free to get in. Is it true they're charging $40 to get out?
only for you, Mr. Chair.
Only kidding, folks.
So yeah, we're very excited about it. You know, the committee itself has planned a lot of signature events for the Easton community, but the event that the Lions are doing, the Celebrations of Easton's History event, really in some respects is the truest to the purpose of the tricentennial, which is celebrating the 300 years of Easton's history. And as Mr. Goodrich mentioned before, or I'll call him Rob, we can be a little more personal than that. We are having an event on May 17th. The doors will open at 6:30, and there will be hors d'oeuvres, there will be desserts, there's going to be some music, there's going to be some very interesting historical boards that will be making their debut, courtesy of the Easton Historical Society and Ken Michael. And I'll leave it to Rob to talk a little bit more about the content of the program.
Yeah, very, very well put. So this is a partnership with the Easton Historical Society. Ken Michael and his team are providing some support. What it's going to be is for the first 45 minutes when we open up the doors, with the music and the history panels, and there'll be historical artifacts for you to look at. Our friends at Shoveltown Brewery will be there, and they'll have a cash bar, and they'll probably open up the doors, and they'll have the tables out in the loge, so it'll be a nice place to congregate. And then starting at 7:15, the speaking portion of the program will commence. Ed Hands will kick us off with Easton's early history. He may touch upon innovators and entrepreneurs in Easton's history as well.
Very appropriate.
Yeah, we're still working on that last portion of that. And then it'll be followed by Ken Michael, the head of the Easton Historical Society, who will talk about Easton's answer to the call to service. And Easton has provided notable service to the armed forces and to the country at large, which Ken will talk upon. And then he'll be followed by Bill Ames, who will talk about the advent of Shoveltown. How did Shoveltown get its name? No, it wasn't because of the beer that they sell, down at Shoveltown, but for other reasons, and also the Ames family legacy. Now, the Ames family in Easton, its history, it's very integral. It's an integral part of Easton, and how Easton was able to achieve the success that it has, and how the town has developed the character that it has as well. And then I will close by giving a plug for the Easton Lions. I'll talk about the Easton Lions history. My portion will be the smallest or shortest portion, probably only about 10 minutes or so. But I'll talk about some things that perhaps you never even knew, things that until recently I never really knew. Easton was formed in 1931 by 22 individuals who really had their hearts set on making a difference in the community, particularly for those that were most vulnerable in the community. In 1931, as you know, is the height of the Depression, and I had no idea, but one of the big needs was dental care for children. So the Easton Lions identified that need, and they did some fundraising, and they established a dental clinic in the Easton public school system. And they focused on preventative dental care, but they also did dental care directly after the Easton Lions donated a dental chair, the drilling apparatus, the sterilization apparatus as well. And they did this for a number of years, and until that need could be met by other facets. But I'll review that, because that is a remarkable contribution for a nonprofit, for a town, and then I'll be fast forwarding and talking about other contributions that the Easton Lions have made to this town throughout its history.
It's truly amazing all the work that Lions Club does, and it's not just to have a town government, but to have organizations like Lions Clubs that can supplement the things that need to be done within a community. And again, if you just joined us, folks, this is Easton 300, a monthly TV show that talks about all the good things that are going to happen during the year 2025. We hope that they'll continue. There's been lots of good things that have happened in previous years, but this is a year-round celebration. And when you think about it, 1725 to 2025, and that's why Dale and I wear our costumes at many of the events to signify the spirit of the history here in the town of Easton, Massachusetts. And I should remind you, if you don't know, our theme for the celebration is bringing families and community together. And Dale, I think it was very appropriate that we selected that as the theme, because that's what we're doing. And I see it happening. We had 3,000 people that came to the Family Fun Day at Langwater Farm, and that took place on April 19th. And that was a big turnout.
Yeah, one of the things I found very endearing, starting off with our kickoff event on January 4th was, as we were in our colonial gear as greeters a little before 1, not knowing whether we might get a few hundred people or what it might be, and the doors opened and there were streams of people coming in, throughout the day. And what I was really encouraged about seeing was there were so many young families who came by and to take advantage of the activities. And it was a nice way for them, I think, to get introduced to what Easton is as a community. You know, and sometimes that's what happens when you have kids. You start getting more connected to the schools and to other people and so forth. And then a very different event that we had with the Arts and Cultural Festival on April 26th. And notwithstanding the fact that the weather wasn't optimal, we had a great turnout. We had a lot of vendors selling some interesting artwork. I picked up a lot of very Easton-centric paintings and photographs myself, and really enjoyed it. And it didn't hurt that there was also a tent with free food as well from McGuire's and Gianna's and elsewhere.
Terrific. And most of the events that are hosted by the Tricentennial Committee are all free except for the gala. And that's the final event that will take place on December 27th at Stonehill College. We're opening up the celebration at Stonehill, and we're closing at Stonehill. Right. And of course, by the time we all get finished, we'll all be Skyhawks. But it seems to me that if there are folks out there that may be watching this cable cast, stay tuned for all the events that will be taking place. Bring your families, share the information with your neighbors. Let's bring the community together and to celebrate the town of Easton. Let's face it, it is a great place to live, to work, to enjoy. And it's a nice challenge to be able to not only bring people together to celebrate, but I think it's a terrific community, and we can tell that just by the generosity, Dale, of people that donated. We thank Courtney Pupkin for leading the Tricentennial fundraising, and the results came in. We have the people participating. We pretty much know that we can pay for the celebration. There's still have some challenges to be able to pay all the bills. And if there are people out there that wish to donate, certainly we would welcome that with open arms. But most important of all, we welcome your families to come and to enjoy the town, a great community that's willing to share, and they do care. There's no doubt about it. Yep. Anything you'd like to say, Dale, about our celebration?
Yeah, let me just talk a little bit about the upcoming activities. We'll talk a little more in detail about the Easton Lions celebration of history in Easton event coming up on May 17th, which I'm very excited about. I tend to be a bit of a history nerd, as is Rob. Yeah. One of the first things that I did when I moved to Easton was attend a talk that Ed Hands gave at Oaks Ames Memorial Hall about the history of the Easton streetcar, and who knew that they were running up Center Street and also going down what is now Route 106 into East Mansfield Square. And then I, shortly after that, went out and purchased a copy of Reverend Chafin's book, written in, I believe, 1886, if I'm not mistaken. He was with the Unitarian Church, and one of those folks, along with Rob, who read it pretty much cover to cover. And so I'm absolutely thrilled to find the Lions event is going to be extraordinarily interesting to learn more about our history. And separate and apart from that, with our signature events, the next signature event we're very excited about on June 14th on Flag Day. There's going to be a Flag Day ceremony that will be featuring the veterans and the Scouts and the Lions holding various of the flags. There will be a flyover, I believe, at 4:30 that day, and this is all going to be over at the high school.
And that'll be done by the Massachusetts State Police, and we appreciate their participation in saluting not only the community, but certainly the veterans that live here in the town of Easton.
Right. No, it's a nice, another one of those events bringing everybody together. One of the things I've always enjoyed about when the Easton Lions were running the annual cable TV auction was watching all of the Daisies, Brownies, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, and Cub Scouts working together to hand up the bid slips to us gray-haired Lions. And in addition, you would have the high school students manning the phones, and you had the business community supporting with donations. And the business community has come up again to support the Tricentennial, just as they've supported the Lions and many other nonprofits throughout the town. And through the works of Courtney Pupkin and Ken Michael and yourself, Dave, we were able to raise over $400,000 so as to provide all of these events free of charge to the town, with the exception of the gala event that we finished with. And then on June 14th, after the Flag Day ceremony, there's going to be a town picnic, a concert, and then ultimately fireworks. And I've been here in Easton since 1993. They have not had any fireworks since I've been here. I don't know if anybody, I haven't found anybody who's ever identified having any fireworks here in town, but June 14th, you're not going to want to miss it.
Well,
It'll be up at the high
according
school
to
fields.
American Thunder, the fireworks company, we're going to make up for all those missed years. It's going to be a terrific fireworks display. All this is going to take place at the high school complex, and we're going to be giving out 1,500 flags, American flags, to all the folks that join us for the flag ceremony. It begins at 4. There's going to be a 42-piece band. They call them the South Shore Concert Band, and they're going to be playing from 3:30 to 5:30. They're going to let people know at 3:30 that it's almost time to start the flag ceremony. We're going to have 3 giant flags on board that require about 30 volunteers to hold the flags. We're going to have veterans there. We're going to have the Lions Club there to help us. We're going to pick people out of the crowd to join us to march up the field with 3 giant flags. One will be the U.S. Navy flag. Certainly the American flag will be there. And we're going to have the flag that flew over Mount Rushmore. This is going to be their last stop in Easton, Massachusetts for these flag displays. And certainly we're all proud to live in the good old USA, but I think we're proud of the men and women in the armed forces. As you wave your flag in the air, as the flyover takes place, and we're going to be playing, as a result of the music, the theme songs of all the armed forces. The Army, the Navy, the Coast Guard, the U.S. Marines. Don't forget the Air Force, and of course the new group called the
Space Force.
So it's going to be a wonderful event for you to be at. And keep in mind, folks, the 14th of June happens to be Flag Day. And that's why we thought it would be very appropriate to bring the community together to celebrate in force. And when you take a look at the crowds we've got, not just for the signature events, but I think the partnership events. And thank you, Dale Kerester, for reaching out to other groups to get involved, like the Lions. And there are many, many groups that the Historical Society's done lots of things on the history of the town. It's great to see people wanting to donate their time and talent to make this celebration the best it can possibly be.
And speaking of volunteering their time, for folks out there, June 14th is going to be a huge event. We're expecting thousands of people to come over to the high school to participate in all those activities. And all of our events are true community-based events, and the spirit of that is for folks to step up and help. We've been very fortunate. We've had well over 70, 80 folks who've already volunteered to help out at various events through the year. If you're interested in doing so, we could definitely use your help, especially for the June 14th event. You can send an email to easton300.2025@gmail.com. That's easton300.2025@gmail.com, and let us know, especially if you can help us out for the June 14th event.
And our webpage is www.easton300.org. We're going to take a short break. I'm here with 2 active members of the Easton Lions Club as we talk about Easton's 300th celebration. Hallelujah. We'll be right back.
Yeah. This is the life. Just relaxing by the beach. What could be better than this?
I've got an idea.
What?
I'd really like to find a forever home.
Forever home?
Yeah, like Jack Ryan talks about on Easton News. A forever home. All those animals at the APCSM, they get forever homes. Why not us?
Listen, man, I hate to tell you this.
Tell me what? Come on, tell me. Look, I can take it. Look at me. Come on, tell me. I can take it. Come on.
We're not real.
What are you talking about? Of course we're real. Look at us. We're sitting here on the beach, on vacation, being served raw meat, mind you. We're having a great time. How are we not real? No, thank you. I'm good. I've had enough. I've had enough. Thank you. What are you talking about? Of course we're real.
Look, it's not that we're not real. We're just not living, breathing animals. You don't even have a mouth, dude.
Well, oh yeah? Well, your eyes are just plastic.
Right back at you.
You've ruined my vacation. I can't believe you've done this.
I mean, well, while we're at it, why do we need a vacation? It's not like you have a job.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay. All right. You know what? I'm out of here.
Cubby, wait. I'm sorry. I didn't mean... Oh, well, you have to get it eventually.
If you'd like to get your hands on a cubby of your own, scan the QR code on your screen now.
Welcome to Service Matters, a weekly radio show that talks about the good things that are happening in local communities and beyond.
Since 1978, the Easton Food Pantry has been dedicated to providing food to our neighbors in times of need. As long as there's hungry people in our community, our doors are open, our hearts will be open to help.
We also like to talk about the good things that people do to make a difference, and in many cases, to make dreams real for folks out there in need.
Just to chat about, as you say, some of the good things in life. There's some of the good things, the great things, and the happy things.
And certainly watch us on ECAT, Easton Community Access Television.
Join me, Priscilla Almquist-Olsen, to explore the town of Easton and its interesting, engaging, ordinary, and extraordinary people, and meet a smorgasbord of guests, including artists, authors, musicians, business owners, community organizations, clergy, local leaders, etc., etc., etc. Community Forum at 3 p.m. on Thursdays and 1:30 p.m. on Saturdays. See you then.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, residents of Easton, friends and neighbors. This is Bill Ames, co-host with Priscilla Almquist-Olsen of the Film Connection on ECAT now for over 20 years. We're very proud of that. And we like to interview guests from Easton who have been involved in the film business, actors, producers. We're very fortunate today to have a producer of a film.
Welcome back to Easton 300, a monthly TV show that talks about our year-round celebration. And my guest today, Rob Goodrich, the president of the Lions Club here in the town of Easton, one of the largest clubs in the New England area. Also joining me, Dale Kerester. And Dale is a handyman here in the community, does lots of things. And he is a volunteer extraordinaire.
He's a serial do-gooder.
That's right.
Well, thank you for the kind words.
So, Rob, I did want to ask you, what would the Lions Club be doing? I know you have more than just the celebration that you're thinking about, but it's a very active organization.
Yeah, I mean, recently we had our annual Junk Day, which coincides with the town's Hazmat Day. And what we do is we, for a small fee, we take things that the town won't take, and we raise funds in that fashion. And then also we recycle the metals, and we turn that around. So we had that on April 19th. And then last Saturday we had the fishing derby, which is something that we've done for the last 5-6 years or so. And it's a free event which is open to all. Easton families, generally families with younger kids, sometimes adolescents and so forth, they show up as well. And they go to the Governor Ames estate and they fish in that pond, and there's a remarkable amount of fish. Like last year, a total of 90 fish were caught. This year I didn't get the count yet, but it's probably either close to or exceeds 90. We had over 30 kids show up for that.
How about you? Did you catch a fish?
Yeah, I caught a fish. It was that big.
There you go. All right.
But
Caught a whale of a minnow.
yeah. But it's remarkable because a lot of these kids, it's the first time ever, that they've held a pole, a fishing pole, never mind reeling in a fish, and just watching, the wonderment in their eyes as they reel in their first fish is remarkable. And keep them engaged and keep things fun too. Is we have categories of fish, perch, bass, pickerel. These are the fish that you find there. Sunfish. And there's a category called a crappie that I had no clue, and they said it's sunfish-like, but
right.
they're able to distinguish it from that. So the biggest one in those categories received a trophy. The biggest overall fish received a trophy, and those that caught the most fish received a trophy as well. So that was a cool event. Now, looking into the future, we generally the summertime is a slow period for us. Our line year is normally pretty active between September and June, but we'll be pitching in on the tricentennial stuff. But come September, we'll kick things off with a car show. I don't have the date right off the top of my head, but the first ever car show that we ran last September, we had planned on 80 vehicles, and over 130 showed up, and it was really, really cool. So we're going to repeat that again. We're going to have that at Southeast Regional High School. And then following that, we're going to have I believe it's the 20th golf tournament, and we're going to have that over at Easton Country Club. And we're always looking for golfers. We're looking for whole sponsors and people that just want to sponsor the event as a whole for that.
And I know that on October 11th, from 6 to 9 p.m. at the where's that located? Yes, at the high school. We're going to have the bonfire. There's going to be a barbecue. There's going to be a concert. And the Lions Club members are going to handle the barbecue. So bring your families down, folks, and enjoy it. It's going to be a great event.
And I hear it's going to be the mother of all bonfires. The fire department's really excited to participate in this, and probably something not to be missed. The food will be cooked by the Lions. It'll be provided by the Tricentennial Committee free of charge. And we look forward to seeing you there.
And of course, we want to thank Roach Brothers for jumping in to sponsor the food for that event. And that's terrific. And this is a good opportunity for us, Dale, and then we're going to come back to the president and talk about more things. But the sponsors who have jumped in to help us. We're talking about the Bank of Easton, the Northeast Savings Bank. We certainly have had the Haynes Group has agreed to sponsor the parade. That parade is going to take place on, I should say, July 12th. I had to hesitate a minute because I get so many dates in my mind. But we certainly want to thank the Avery Lee Williams Family Foundation. They are sponsoring the anniversary gala over at Stonehill College on December 27th. We thank the DiRenzo Charitable Foundation. They're going to be, thanks to Dave Howe, we're going to be sponsoring the bonfire concert and barbecue. And who did I miss? I wanted to thank some of the sponsors. Alex Pires is going to be hosting and sponsoring the fireworks display, and that's going to be a terrific event that's going to draw lots of people, no doubt about it.
And I might be repeating you, but also, I'm not sure if you mentioned Bank of Easton. They'll be providing sponsorship also for the June 14th event. And then in addition, Doug King will be sponsoring our block party on September 6th, which will be held at the Governor Ames Estate. And that's going to be another great activity.
Now, there's lots of people that made donations. I just mentioned some of the ones that were involved in the huge donations in sponsoring the signature events to make it possible. So, folks, there's a lot of things happening, and I hope that you get a copy of our brochure. They're everywhere, or you can go online at our webpage. And we certainly thank the many people who've been involved in the celebration, not so much as coordinators, but everybody has a talent. I think of Casey Banks doing our flyers. Yeah, she just does them and takes care of it, and it's done in a very professional way.
One of the things I most enjoy about getting involved in things like this or with the Lions Club is the opportunity to meet so many folks in town who are interested in spending their time to help others. And we've certainly had that opportunity on the Tricentennial Committee with the folks who have stepped up to the plate to serve as coordinators. So whether it's Amanda Hurley or Anne Marie Taylor, who did a fantastic job with our January 4th event and are also coordinating our gala event. And Dan and Jamie Anderson, who will be heading up our event for the block party on September 6th.
Lots of talent and lots of creativity.
Yep, and Tom and Karen Hetzel, who helped work with Langwater Farm for that fantastic event for the Family Fun Day on April 19th. And the list goes on, and Joan Lundgren and her team working with Diane to coordinate the Arts Festival. And it's just been one activity after another. And I encourage folks, when you have a chance, go on easton300.org and you can click on events. And you will see, I believe we actually, between the signature events and the community partnership events, I believe there are 62 different events that are listed for the town. So this town is stepping up big time. And it's not only the business community with in excess of $400,000 to make all of this happen, but it's all the volunteers and most importantly, for all the folks who have been coming out to participate. And I'd also like to give a thanks to the folks who are leading us in the way in the town with Connor Reed and Sean Dugan and the rest of the team in the town administration offices and Dottie Fulgenetti and the select board. There's a reason why the town is stepping up to the plate and coming on board with an event in the series of events that we've had. And I think it's a reflection of whether you may agree or disagree on a particular issue, but how people feel about Easton. And we're extraordinarily fortunate to have folks who are leading the charge, with such skill and dedication to our town.
And there's a lot of people behind the scenes, like Ken Wood, handling busing at many of the events that we're having, and there'll be many more coming. Mike Good, who helped us with the billboard that you see at the corner of Belmont Street.
And leading our efforts on the marketing and so forth and getting the word out to folks, which is why we had so many folks who have attended our first two signature events.
Then you get a guy like Ken Michael. I thought he did a fabulous job as the MC at the
Snow White silent film, yeah.
And Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah, I can jump in on that.
Yeah. And
So I was there. I was sitting in front of you, but it was quite a remarkable event held at I forget the name of the theater at Stonehill. It's off the Duffy Center. But we saw the original film Snow White silent film, which was published in 1917 out of New York City, and it was actually directed and produced by Winthrop Ames of Easton, and Winthrop was the one who sold the copyright over to Disney, and Disney subsequently made it their first full-length feature film, and then it set them up for success. But Ken Michael, the Historical Society, partnered with the library, and they really made it a truly successful and very, very unique event.
And on behalf of the Tricentennial Committee, both Dale and I wanted to thank Stonehill College. We wanted to thank the Ames Free Library, and of course the Easton Historical Society for coordinating that event that took place. They had two wonderful musicians that played the music in the background.
Yeah, a harp and a viola.
And Ken Michael has done a lot of things for our Tricentennial Committee behind the scenes, and we want you to know Ken very much appreciated. And of course, the fundraising that took place, Courtney Pupkin, we appreciate her efforts. And the list just goes on and on of people. And my apologies out there if I forgot people. If I don't get you this time, I'll get you at the next show. But it's been absolutely terrific to see that people have come forward. Dale, let's talk about the parade that's coming up. And that's something that's going to be very special. It's going to take place on July 12th. It could very well be the largest parade the town's ever had. And we've got about 7 bands, musical groups. We've got maybe 10 floats to be in the parade. We have the Clydesdales are going to be joining us.
Shriners.
The Shriners,
Right.
certainly that's a whole division. We have many fire departments, thanks to our local chief, Justin Alexander. He's coordinating, it'll be a whole division of just fire trucks from all the towns. So bring your earplugs, folks. So don't wear them, just listen to the sound as we say happy anniversary to all the folks there that live in the town of Easton, Massachusetts.
And we're grateful for having Corey Honan leading the charge and organizing the efforts, and for Al Provost and others who serve on the parade committee. This is another group where they've had their own meetings that have been going on for months now to put this in place. It's a lot of work to put together something like this. And as you mentioned, this will be the largest parade that Easton will ever have had. And there's a lot of logistics that have to be done in order to figure out where you're going to line everybody up and where and when and so forth. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And
that's not all, but we're going to have a flyover.
Another flyover. And there were doubters who said it couldn't be done, as I recall.
It couldn't be done, as I had said to some people, it couldn't be done. That means not one flyover, but 2.
Yes.
And the fact is that we're going to have a review stand in front of DPW. And we want to thank CERT for their active participation. They're going to be there at the water stops. They're going to be there to do what they can. They're going to have their Jeep in the parade.
And correct me if I get this wrong, was it Certified Emergency Response Team?
Community Emergency Response
Community.
Team.
Okay, Community Emergency Response Team. So they've been together for a number of years now, and they participate in a number of events to provide some additional services to bolster the town services for these events, especially where we have large public, a number of public gathering.
Yeah, they're trained to be force multipliers in the event of an emergency response, as merited. They augment the officers from the fire department, police department, and so forth.
We also want to thank Vertec Corporation for sponsoring the Shriners to come, and the money that they get, of course, goes to their causes, which is terrific. So it
now,
nice.
I'm not sure that everybody out there knows what the Shriners do. They're not just a marching group. They're in those like little go-karts, and they zip around, and
they bring trucks, they bring go-karts,
yeah.
They bring trailers.
It's really kind of neat.
They have to come in buses because they have so many people. That's a parade in itself, folks, just watching the Shriners. And it's a parade in itself just to watch all the fire trucks from all the towns. And then we have our own parade, which involves lots of music. I mean, there haven't been too many parades that we've seen in town that have 7 musical groups coming up the street. So,
Dave, what's the route for the parade?
well, it's going to start really at Short Street. That's where the fire vehicles will line up. Public safety vehicles will go first, just in case there's an emergency they have to be at in their towns. And then the parade will go all the way back to the monument. Division 1, 2, and 3 will line up behind the fire vehicles.
When you say go back, I mean the parade
Back to the
lineup will be
monument.
going back on Center Street
On
from
Center
Short
Street.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we'll be using Porter Street for divisions 4 and 5. And the way it's going, I wouldn't be surprised if a 6th division shows up.
Never know.
The fact is, it's going to be a 2-hour parade. It's going to end as it goes past downtown, the main street,
So we're
and
going up
it's going to
Center
end
Street,
on
right?
Ponner Street.
Yeah.
All the vehicles, the floats are going to go straight ahead up by the chocolate factory. And all the walkers and marchers and vans are going to board their buses on Pond Street.
So folks will be able to line themselves up all along Center Street, basically from Short Street up to Main Street, to watch the parade go by. So it's going to be a great
south and then goes north.
Yeah, it's going to be a great summertime activity.
There's a few families lining up block parties on their own streets to bring their families together for this celebration. There's going to be traffic blocked off, and there's permission being researched, and certainly you have to go before the board for a lot of the permissions that are required. And Dale and I, we meet on Saturdays even to discuss agendas and things that have to be discussed. I got to say, it's a lot of work, but it's been a lot of fun. And to see people coming together, and I've said this to Dale many times, how lucky we are to have what we have, to live in a community like Easton. And I know there's lots of concerns about budgets and all the things, but I got to tell you, this is a celebration that we can come together and to enjoy the community.
Yeah, and I think that's a good way to put it, which is it's a great opportunity for us all to come together in the entire community. We have a lot of extraordinary folks doing extraordinary things to help others around them, and this is an opportunity for us all to come in and celebrate what makes Easton special, and it's special in a lot of different ways. And this gives an opportunity for folks to come out and participate in different activities, get to know some folks maybe that they didn't know before, and to help celebrate. And again, you think about it, 300 years, it's pretty remarkable. And this town was formed in 1725, largely because of religious reasons, that folks didn't want to travel down to Norton for attending their services on Sunday mornings. And they started petitioning in 1708, and Taunton resisted. Easton originally was part of the Taunton North Purchase. And eventually the town was successful in getting formed and incorporated on December 21st, 1725. And keep an eye on that event that day as well, because we're hoping to have a ringing of the church bells throughout Easton to celebrate the actual 300th anniversary of the incorporation of the town.
And we do have a time capsule that we're going to put things in there that we want the folks who are at the 350th celebration. Who knows, maybe the town might want to have a 325th. I'm not sure if I'll be at the 350th. Dale will be there to take over.
We're counting on you. We're actually going to do some cryogenic freezing here, though.
But I'll tell you, there's lots of things happening. And for the folks out there that may be watching, a great way to feel good about yourself is to do something good for someone else. And I see lots of volunteers coming together. It's not just 10 people appointed by the select board a couple of years ago, but it's all the folks who have joined us that give their time and talent. There's organizations out there that are willing to come aboard. And the Possibilities Group, we're going to meet with them tomorrow, Thursday, I think.
Yeah, House of Possibilities is another organization in town that's done wonderful work. I first became aware of them when the Lions did the Celebration of Easton's Community Services event. And the House of Possibilities helps young adults who are facing various challenges. And they put together a video for that event which we had. It was one of the last events in Easton before things shut down from COVID. It was early March of 2020. We did it over at Olmsted Richardson. And the House of Possibilities put together a video to introduce themselves to the community. And they have some very exciting plans underway where they're looking to do an expansion of what they offer. And it's just one example of another community. They did an art show event, and I went over to participate in that. And as I was walking in, you would see some of the members, young adults, who were facing some challenges, and they were walking with family members to show off their artwork that they had done. And they did a special wall of their favorite places in Easton in honor of the tricentennial. And You should have seen the smiles on those folks and the pride that they were showing with the work when they were showing off their artwork to their family and friends. And it really was quite remarkable. And if I may, can I put another plug in for the Lions event? So we've got a flyer here. So it's the Celebration of Easton's History event by the Lions, and it's going to be on May 17th. Rob, correct me if I misstate anything, but the doors will open at 6:30. We encourage folks to get there early because we do have limited capacity and limited seating there. So you really don't want to miss it, because this is the only real opportunity during the town to get this kind of a comprehensive snapshot of Easton's history in a lot of different interesting ways, talking about its formation, the commitment to Easton's commitment to military service, including starting with a militia unit, as I understand it, going back to the Revolutionary War days. And then about 7:15 or so, and you don't want to forget cash bar, right?
Yep.
Appetizers and hors d'oeuvres.
Yep.
And desserts. So you've got some food, you get some Shoveltown beverages there.
And it's all free.
And it's all free. And it's
you
going to
get
be a great event.
updated on the history of the town of Easton. A few more people I want to thank as we get closer and closer to the finish of our show today. I wanted to thank Craig Davidson, the liaison between the school and our celebration committee. I want to thank another Craig, and he's a select board representative on the board, and he's been such an active guy who has interest in being involved in the celebration, and I think we're making the select board feel comfortable.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
They were rightful to be nervous about it.
But there's probably a lot of people that I also wanted to mention, Secretary, and I think about Diane Lasati, all the stuff that she's done, posting our agendas and making sure the minutes get out.
Along with the able assistance of Roz Miller, too.
Yeah,
right?
Roz Miller, the Assistant Secretary. When you think about 70-plus meetings for a couple of years, that's above and beyond the call of duty. And of course, our treasurer, Jeanette Camry, she's terrific.
By the way, I don't know about you, but when the select board asked us to serve on the committee, nobody said anything about 70 meetings. So we need to have some words with them on this.
But that's why we can be very proud, and I say this to all the committee members, be very proud of what you've done to help bring the community together. The attendance that we saw at some of the opening events, it gives you an idea of the crowds that we're going to have for this celebration. So any final comments, Rob, you'd like to make as the president of the Easton Lions? And make sure you tell them if there's someone out there interested in being a member of the Lions Club,
You're stealing
who do
my
they
thunder.
contact?
Yeah, I'd like to put in two plugs for the Lions. First is the thrift store, Easton Lions Thrift Store. If you haven't been there, I would encourage you to go. It is the best deals in town. You have 3 floors of treasures, and from week to week, you never know what you're going to find, because we rely on donations from the community. People who want to donate things to us, they can donate between 10 o'clock and 1 o'clock every Saturday. The thrift store is open from 10 to 2 on every Saturday. And it really is a nice place to go, especially if you're looking for a bargain. And secondly, what you had touched upon, you said that service to others can really help cheer people. And a great American, Booker T. Washington, once said, and it's a quote that I use a lot, those that are happiest are those who do the most for others. So service to others, the people in the Tricentennial Committee, and I'm sure a lot of people are oriented and they've served people for a real long time, but the Lions, that's how we've stayed such a strong and vibrant organization for over 93 years. So if you're looking to serve the community and have fun while while serving others and joining this one big family united through philanthropy, I would encourage you to give the Lions a look.
Yeah, if I can just add to that a little bit from my own personal experience. 20-some years ago, I took my car over to Junk Day, and Lee Williams stuck his head through the window and said, "Anybody ever asked you if you want to join the Lions Club?" And at this point, I'm looking, there's a car in front of me, there's a car behind me, I can't move. So I gave my contact information to Lee, and thankfully, he followed up with me for a couple of years. I had young kids at the time, but it's one of the best decisions I've ever made. I've made so many friendships through the Lions. It's not just about the community service that you're offering, but it's a community connection. You get an opportunity to meet some extraordinary people that you wouldn't otherwise get to know, different ages, different backgrounds, different careers. And it's been such a wonderful experience. And I, having not grown up in the Easton area,
Me neither.
I moved here in 1993, and it was one of the best things I did to really feel like I got roots into the town. And so I'd encourage folks, whether you've been a longtime resident of Easton or whether you moved recently, take a look at eastonlions.org and, just let us know. We'd be happy to have you come as our guest to one of our meetings. We have some very tasty dinners, courtesy of Julia and Emily over at the VFW. And we're also very thankful for the VFW for hosting our meetings. So if you are interested, send an email to president@eastonlions.org.
Yes, president@eastonlions.org, yeah.
And, we'd love to have you come take a look-see.
I'll get that letter out tonight.
Thank you. Yeah, what about you? Don't forget this Rotary business.
Yeah, has anybody ever asked you to be aligned?
Dale has on several occasions. Again,
Yeah,
I wanted
wear you
to, you touched upon it, Dale. I wanted to give another thank you and shout out to Fred and Bill Ames. They're part of the family, the Ames family. And of course, they're our honorary co-chairs of our celebration. And of course, Fred Badger has been a terrific liaison between the select board and our committee, and we are forever grateful. And certainly to all the volunteers that have shared their time, their talent, their ideas, their resources, and of course, their personalities to make what you're going to see in the remaining months. We've already almost at the halfway mark of our celebration. You got a lot of big time events coming up, and we want you all to participate. Any final comment you'd like to make, Dale, and we're going to sign off?
No, just a threat that you might be seeing some folks out in some colonial gear, perhaps at the May 17th event and some others as well.
That's going to wrap it up for our show called Easton 300. This is a year-round celebration. We got fireworks coming up. We got a bonfire coming up. We got a giant parade coming up. We have a car show at Borderland State Park. We have a gala and a block party. So lots of things are happening. And we say to each and every one of you out there, go forth to serve. Do it with a smile on your face. And as I said before, if you're going to do something good, do it with the dignity that it deserves. Thank you, ECAT, Easton Community Access Television, for making this show possible. Thank you, Adam.